Hey guys, it's Mike and Artie here. So not too long ago, someone left a comment on one of my YouTube videos asking if I would make a video going through the types of requirement questions I ask to help you figure out, what questions are best and how to collect the right information to make sure that you're able to quickly and easily complete projects for your buyers with minimal delays, minimal uncertainty, and ultimately, maximize the amount of happy clients you're having based on the fact that you're using gig requirements to, accurately and clearly define expectations. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. In this video, I'm going to be covering the gig requirements that I ask for one of my gigs, and I'll talk about some of the key things you should be thinking about when creating your gig requirements. The end goal of them is to make your life a lot easier, right? You want there to be no stones left unturned, and you want to have all the information you need to have to complete a gig that's going to wow your buyers. So if you're new to this channel, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get into this video. Thanks. All right, so this is my Fiverr profile. And I mentioned that in this video, I'm going to be covering the gig requirements that I use and the kind of the methodology I use to create gig requirements that are going to make it as easy as possible for me to deliver a gig that's going to meet my buyer's expectations. So for this one, we'll jump into one that I recently tweaked the requirements for. It's this one here. I will write LinkedIn networking and connection request messages. So I'll click into that. So this is my gig. In this gig, I basically offer services where I help people connect with people on LinkedIn, and then after they've connected, send strategic messages to those people to help them, build relationships so that they can either sell their products, book meetings, or just grow their network of professionals on LinkedIn. So I offer three basic packages. One where it's just a connection request message. The second one's that and a follow-up message. And the third is a connection request and 2 follow-up messages. So when I'm creating these requirements, my goal is to have my buyers be able to place an order and not need to speak to me for me to complete the order, deliver it, and then give me a 5-star rating. This is one of the ways that I optimize my workflow and lets me save a lot of time. So if I go into Edit Gig here and click over to Requirements, these are my requirements. So typically, when I'm working with buyers on Fiverr, they're trying to connect with people on LinkedIn for business purposes. So the first question is, what is your business? And then I specify whether or not they're a job seeker and what are their skills. So some people who come to me for this gig are actually people looking to get hired by companies that they're trying to connect with on LinkedIn. So if they're a business, they tell me what their business is here. If they're a job seeker, I ask them to identify that and then list the skills that they have. That helps me tailor the copy that I'm writing to accomplish the goal they're trying to accomplish. The next thing, it's kind of a follow-up to the first requirement question, is why do you want to connect with people on LinkedIn? So I've just explained why I created this gig. It's to help people connect with businesses or find jobs places. But that was just my assumption. Everyone's different, and a lot of people are using LinkedIn for a lot of different, purposes. So this question helps me clarify whether or not my expectation of what the buyer's looking for actually aligns with what they're looking for. And it's important that you include questions like this because you don't want to guess. You want to make sure that you have a good bearing of what they want, and that'll ensure that your deliveries get marked as completed and you get great ratings. The next thing I put here is whether or not they have a website. This is also super important. I mentioned that I don't want to have to communicate with them more than these requirements for this type of a gig. So by them including their website, I can do my own research and gather my own information on, what they're trying to sell or how their products or services might align with the people they're connecting with. The third is their most valuable skill. So oftentimes when I'm writing copy, whether this be for LinkedIn, websites or email marketing, people sell based on, the pains their client have or the value they can bring to their clients. And typically this type of a sales cycle falls back on either the person's most valuable skill, why work with this sales rep versus another, or the company's most valuable skill, like their value proposition. So that's essentially what this question does. It helps my buyers explain to me what they can offer their clients or their people they're trying to connect with, and essentially why those people should care, and that's very helpful. And lastly, I ask for their LinkedIn profile. Again, similar to asking for their website. I do my own research, right? So checking their website and checking their LinkedIn profile helps me collect the information that I need to kind of paint a picture of the type of person or company I'm working with. And that helps me tailor my messaging to suit their purposes. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty basic. For this gig, I also don't put more requirement questions than I need. But at the same time, over the last year, I found that these are the core questions I need answered. And 9 times out of 10, they're enough to get the project done. All right. So it's pretty basic. The requirement questions I use are not rocket science. It doesn't go into a huge amount of detail. I don't need their social security number. Basically, what I do when building out my buyer requirements is I think about what the absolute essential information that I need is, and how do I put that into a question. So typically, that boils down to, what do my buyers want? What are their goals? Why are they buying my services, and what are they hoping to accomplish with it? Who their customers are, because most people who are turning to Fiverr for freelancing are businesses or entrepreneurs looking to sell something, and their value proposition, or why people should care. These are typically the core tenets of any good set of requirement questions. Now, I tailor my requirements questions over time. So if I notice that I'm getting a lot of revision requests for a certain gig, I'll actually sit down and take some time to review those requirement questions and review the reasons that I was getting a lot of revision requests, because I don't want to have to do revision requests. If I can tweak my requirements to address some of the uncertainties or communication lapses I've had with my buyers that resulted in a revision request, I'll take the time to do that and experiment with that, and I think you should too. Now, this is just, I should clarify, this video should just be used as a set of guidelines, or to help you understand what might be important for you and your buyers in requirements. Obviously, if you're selling in a different niche than I am, or you've encountered buyers that have requested revisions for a number of different reasons, use that, we'll call it data from your past experience or past experiences to tailor these requirements. The goal should be to get you all the information you need to complete the order to spec in a way that they'll be content with. And the goal for you to your buyer should be that they have all the space they need to clearly explain what they want from you. If you focus on that, you'll be good. So I hope this video was helpful. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.